Sometimes the greatest threat to the life and the health of the church is not something that comes at us from the outside, like out there, like persecution, right? Sometimes the greatest threat is what happens within the people of God. In other words, our greatest vulnerability as a church, and I think this is an important time to say this, just as a church in America in 2025, our greatest vulnerability, I don't believe, is cultural or political or societal opposition. And it's easy to kind of get real defensive on Facebook, when you see something you perceive as like an external threat. Kind of take up arms, right? But that's not really what threatens the health of the church. What is a greater threat is when the people of God don't live like the people of God. It's what's happening inside the house, not outside the house. Does that make sense? When you have moral and spiritual compromise that's happening within the body of Christ, that is actually a real threat to the health and the life of the church. The church has always done fine. I mean, I'm talking about historically under external threat. In fact, the church has not only survived, it's thrived under external opposition. I mean, you think about some of the greatest church movements in the world today are happening in places like China and Cuba, where the greatest external threats imaginable are happening. The church has always done well. The church has actually grown when it comes under opposition. Tertullian, early church father, says that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. What he's saying is every time the church has come under attack from the outside, it has flourished. We don't need to be worried about that. That is not the greatest threat. The greatest threat is when there's been internal compromise, when there's been a comfortability with sin in my life and in the lives of God's people.